I'm super excited to be here at UTA. Today we're talking to Society of Women Engineers for their Women's History Month panel, and I can't wait to talk to all the ladies and learn all about them. So we'll see you soon. Bye.
These are panelists for today. Okay, first before we do that, what is Women's History Month? Because I know we put Women's History Month panel on there, and maybe you don't know what that is. So we celebrate Women's History Month every March, and it honors the contribution of women in and throughout the history, and we recognize the achievements across all fields. So today we're talking about engineering because we're the Society of Women Engineers. Now let's introduce our lovely panels because you already rapidly drinking up. All right, first we have Chloe Johnson. Yes. See, I got it right this time. Chloe is a software engineer with over 4 years of experience, has a master's in software engineering from Johns Hopkins. Guys, he's a smart school. She works on safety critical systems automation and complex engineering environments where precision really matters. So she doesn't make mistakes in her job, right? Never. As you never made a mistake. Not once. Not even a punctuation. What stands out about Chloe is her ability to take highly technical systems and make them reliable, efficient, and impactful. Chloe Johnson, everyone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, up next we have Brittany Gordon. Love the dress, love the hair, cute. Brittany is an IT professional with growing focus in project management, but what really defines her is her commitment to the community. She ethically builds spaces that supports women, us, and Vlada professionals, creating environments where people feel seen and supported. She's someone that reminds us that leadership is just as much about people as it is execution. Brittany Gordon! Next, we have Ashley Jeter. Come on, yeah. Ashley's I feel of everybody here, she's the dearest of Swee's group. Ashley is everywhere. You see her on this campus 24/7. And Event Nesby has, Ashley has it too. But she is a metallurgical engineer. That is a crazy name of engineering right there. Metallurgical engineer whose career spans aerospace, defense, and technology. She's worked with NASA, Deloitte, completed on engineering leadership development programs. It's a mouthful. And now leads her own platform, All Things STEM with Ashley. If you're on Instagram, check her out. Really cool. Where she empowers and connects minorities in STEM. She's not just building a career, she's building a community and a movement. Ashley Jeter. And finally, we have Shara Avila. Woo woo. Yeah. Shara is a software development manager and a computer scientist who leads high-performing engineering teams across the U.S. She works at Asset Intertech, right? I know, their logo is really cute. That's how I remember. Her background spans aerospace defense and education, including work on F-35 systems. She's known for modernizing complex systems and mentoring engineers, bringing both technical depth and strong leadership to everything she does. Shara Amnila. She's like, that's not that's not me. All right. Sit down. Have a nice little chat today, guys. It's gonna be so fun. Look at me. Don't I look so cool with all these cool ornaments? Right. I'll take a picture. In 5 years, I'll be sitting here too. Yes? I look cool? Yeah, you. All right. All right, I'll get to the questions. I'm actually going to use this one. I know it's a bit copy, but we can have the mic passed around easier. Right? All right, let's start really simple. This one's easy. Tell us your name. I already introduced them, but let them tell you do. Your name, your role, and one word that describes your duty so far in STEM.
All right, good evening, everyone. Is it working still? So, turn my HA maybe. Doubt it. Yeah. Oh, let's go. Okay. Hi. Excited to be here tonight. I'm Ashley Jeter, as she said as an introduction. I'm currently a project engineer. I've had a lot of technical roles. And I want to learn more about the business side of the business and the financials and running a portfolio. So I'm experimenting with that right now and absolutely loving it. So I can have that technical knowledge and the other business side of knowledge. And then one word to describe my
Your journey in STEM.
My journey in STEM is unique, and we'll get into that. Do so.
Hi, ladies. I'm Verdelis Gordon. I am an operations administrator at a business consulting firm, which if no one know what that means, it's just essentially in level one support or someone who supports daily operations. I specifically work in the tax practice, so I'm supporting the platforms that they use to file taxes and so on and so forth. I would say that my journey started here in like IT, but I would like to branch out into project management. I don't know which sector yet, whether that be hospitality or million information technology, but we'll see. That's a little bit for me. Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe Johnson. I'm a software engineer at an aerospace company. We all know which one. You'll And I do automation work for my team. And what that means is we have flight simulators, and usually you have to click those buttons manually. What I'm doing is I automate these button clicks. And that's how I explain it to you guys. And one word that would describe my journey in STEM, I would say it's been transformative.
I think it missed that part.
What's your word?
I think I missed that part. And let's retract that. So I would describe my journey in IT, or just what was it?
In STEM.
In STEM, so far, so specifically in IT, as fun. I've met some great people along the way, and I had good times. I mean, I worked with some of the greatest people ever. So I would say it's been fun.
Siri. So I am Sheriff. I am the software development manager at Asset Intertech, this little software firm. Also, I knew engineering, developments, and I'm also the Scrum Master, so you wear a lot of hats. I thought long and hard about what word I wanted to use, and I think my journey in STEM has been epic.
I love that. It's awesome. All right. Now that you know, maybe you have a goodness. Oh, wow. This is just today. Maybe you have a word for your journey instead. Think about that. I'll ask you later. All right. Now we're gonna move on to like the questions. So this one starts off really, really deep. Did you always know you wanted to be in STEM, or did life surprise you? So walk us through how you got there.
Okay, I love this question because exposure to STEM is so important. That's part of the reason why I have all things STEM to Ashley. But I was in sixth grade, and my parents signed me up for after-school camp where we got to do science experiments once a month. And at the end of that program, we got to go to Georgia Tech. I'm from Georgia, and we got to go to actually a sweet event. It was like a career fair type thing where everybody did their booths up, and they had different things going on. And I saw other girls that looked like me doing amazing things. So from there, I got to go into the STEM Academy in my high school for a year. It was kind of new at the time, so I did that for 1 year. And when I was in that, we had a professor that made us talk about the different types of STEM and research it to see what we actually liked. And I didn't know what metallurgical was. I always thought I wanted to be a software hardware engineer creating cell phones, laptops, things like that. And then once I found out about metallurgical, it opened new doors for me because I could stay in one field, one major, and go in multiple different fields, from healthcare to automotive to aerospace. So that was my journey. I did not always know I wanted to be in STEM, but sixth grade exposed me, and I've loved it ever since. As you said, I went on to the University of Alabama in Vanderbilt and had internships at NASA. And it's just been a beautiful journey, and I just want everybody to experience how great it can get, and you can always pivot. Kind of like I said in my introduction, I'm now learning the technical and learning non-technical things, so you can always evolve. So, yeah.
Girl, how do I follow up a friend? I presented the question again. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so the question is, did you always know you wanted to be in STEM, and did life surprise you? And what did that journey look like? And what does it look like right now?
I did not know that I always wanted to pursue information technology. Specifically, I lived in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is about 6 hours from here. So I was only exposed to nurses and people who drove trucks. You know, it was just kind of that, either being a nurse or do I want to drive trucks? And I did not want to either. I will not go for fun, and I don't want to be in a park for hours. But I pursued my associates. I have more of a non-traditional route. I didn't go to a four-year institution. I pursued my associates, and once I graduated, I decided to move here. And then from there, I got an opportunity to work at another two-year institution, Collin College. It's pretty big college around the like lower Dallas area. So I did not start off in information technology. Actually, it was an opportunity I just pursued after working in their admissions department for about a year part time, and I wanted to pursue a full time position. And I just wanted to try something new and really challenge myself. So I would say I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. I just went to college because that's what I was told to do to pursue higher education. And after earning my business administration degree, which is not necessarily in IT, but it was a lot of transferable skills that I learned over time that I was able to apply in technology. And from there, I just decided to keep working and keep striving in technology because so no, it was not something I wanted to do necessarily, but I learned to get and challenge myself and keep going.
So, so did I always know that I was going to be in STEM? I actually always knew I was going to be in STEM, but which letter I fell under was a surprise. So both my parents are veterinarians, and so that's the science. And I always thought, oh yeah, I will be a veterinarian too. Like they're here, they're my role models. I'll just do the same thing. And seventh grade was when I actually found out that I did not want to be a veterinarian. We had a professional project, like what do you want to be when you grow up project. And I had two great resources at home. So I asked them all the questions like, what do you have to do to become a veterinarian? And they said they had to dissect some animals. And I was not about that life. I wasn't about it. So I was like, okay, do you not want to be a veterinarian? All right. But then I didn't have like a direction in where I wanted to be after that. And so my parents kind of saw that I was like, oh, I don't know what I want to be anymore. And they actually put me in some engineering camps that same summer. And I actually learned how to build a computer. I made my first game program. So I was like, wow, this is like really fun. But now I wanted to be an engineer, but what type of engineer? I didn't know. And it wasn't until my senior year of high school, I was choosing my electives, and my dad was like, hey, why don't you do the computer science class? And I was like, computer science, right? And I didn't have another choice. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll do this one. And I actually fell in love with the class. It just came easy to me. These concepts, saying with Java, C++. So I was like, wow. Yeah, it was nice. And then I found out you could do a career in this. And I was like, bet, let me just go ahead and choose that as my major for college. And I just took it in hand. And I got internships with that, 3 internships through my experience to college. And then I got my jobs after. And I've been here ever since, pretty much. Yes, easy.
So I'm a little bit older than these lovely ladies here. STEM was not a thing when I was in school. The letters hadn't been spelled out, of course. Each individual thing was a thing, but putting it all together. Yeah, so when I was in high school, I had a math teacher, Mr. Goodman, and he was my geometry teacher. I hated geometry, but really liked how he taught. I really liked how it made you think, breaking down an algorithm, breaking down a proof. So I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a math teacher. Went, got my associate's degree as well, then went to a 4-year school. There was a program that was a dual major with computer science and mathematics, but I couldn't complete both degrees, and I was farther along with the math. So I ended up getting my minor in computer science because being a math teacher was still my focus. After 5 years, so to answer the question, yes, I always wanted to be in the math field. But then this is where the epic journey happens, is after being a math teacher for 5 years, I realized, no, I don't like doing this. So I went back, got my master's in computer science, and 12 years later,
here we are.
Looks beautiful, but doesn't. Yes, it does. Yes, I think so. Yes. Here.
There we go. I just needed a second. I heard like stories and was like, no. Great. That was awesome, by the way. Incredible. Did you hear that? Do whatever you want and still come back to engineering. It will always find you. It's not a threat. It genuinely it's just fuck you. Somewhat take that. If you do it.
Well, one more time. Because believe my brain is sick for it. Just keep it slow. But right. It's me. Or you turn it back.
Somewhat. All right. Follow-up question to that. Has anyone ever made you feel like you didn't belong in a room? What that means is anybody giving you imposter syndrome. Have you ever had imposter syndrome? How did you handle it? And what would you tell your younger self right now?
Absolutely, absolutely. Earlier in my career, even in college, because my major was very small, it's like 13 of us. They would look like, are you in the wrong class or are you in the wrong lab? Are you lost? But you have, and it used to intimidate me. Like I've been a victim of it. Like I let it win and believe those thoughts. But as I got into my career journey and had to remember, like I have a great education, I have a great perspective, and it does need to be heard. It can help solve the solutions of the problems that we're solving each day. You do have a lot of allies in STEM as well. It's not always like that, but you do have those situations. But you have to remember who you are and have confidence in yourself and your degree and everything you studied, and know that you are an asset to your team. So I will say always, stay up on your research. Make sure that when you do speak up, that is accurate information. Bring those different perspectives, and you can, bring it up the way you would like it. Also seek out like a mentor to help you say, hey, this happened in my last week, but I would like to address it as this. Get mentors. Mentors help you build confidence. They help you with your blind spots and developmental areas. I would say that over time, just speak up when necessary and know that you belong there and that you got the job just like everyone else and that your degree won't let you down. And just have that self-confidence to believe in yourself. So don't let it win. And even if someone comes at you, just calmly respond with your facts. All right?
I would have to say no. I don't think I've ever taken someone else's perception of me on. And I think, if anything, I'm my biggest critic. And at times I walk into rooms feeling inadequate because everyone else has bachelor's degrees and everyone else is just so experienced. And I'm a bit of a baby in my career. I mean, I just started my big little job recently. So I think, if anything, I haven't walked into rooms that I didn't deserve to be in. I've earned every right to be in the rooms that I'm in. I've shown up and proved myself worthy. And most of all, I make sure that I'm confident and I look my best and I go my best in every room that I'm in. So no, I don't think I've ever felt like an imposter. I know exactly who I am and what I'm wanting and what I'm going for. And the people in the room typically support me just the same. So
Yeah. Very empowering. I've definitely got like imposter. Yes, I have, but you just have to remember that you got the job too. Like they hired you, right? So you belong there too. And feeling like that and talking to these people that are maybe higher levels than me, and I'm actually doing the same work though, right? And then all of a sudden it started switching. Like now everybody's asking me questions. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, yeah. Like I have to like help all the people on my team set up their environments and all this kind of stuff now. And it was not even that long ago I was feeling like, oh my gosh, like this person just does so much. And then I actually taught me. I'm like, oh, I know this like I know. So it's been a journey, but you just have to remember that you were hired there as well. Like so you belong. And then also the mentors point, definitely get a mentor and just talk through those problems and they'll encourage you as well.
Yeah, I have to say I'm kind of between Brittany and Ashley because the only person that has made me feel inadequate is myself. Because really, there hasn't been, I have been blessed with very supportive people all along in both my careers. But if I'm going into the room thinking that I don't belong there. I'm the one that did it. So not necessarily taking on anyone else's. It's just me not having the confidence. And one of the things that I learned, and especially like I said, when I was younger, I definitely had women going to Women's History Month. You know, there were definitely women that paved the road for me. But prior, as I was getting into the field and into this, there was definitely that need to, maybe be one of the boys and fit in and assimilate into this man culture. And I kind of found that that was part of why I felt like an imposter, is because I am a girly girl. I can't talk about my bodily fluids and functions and burp and whatever, So once I realized that I don't do any of that. So at least not in public. So once I started embracing my femininity and realizing, if you're one of the boys, that's a totally different thing. But I'm not. So I can hang with the boys, but I'm not trying to be one of the boys. And once I started being true to myself, recognizing who I was, I started realizing that the rest of it just came. Like that confidence came. And, so that's, to me, definitely finding the mentors and everything, but just figure out who you are. Go in with the confidence. You do deserve to be there. And that's my advice.
Sort of like that.
Huh? Ooh. Ooh, that's so lovely. Guys, your biggest critic really is yourselves. And I know like everybody feels it in this room. Sometimes you walk into that room and it's like, I don't know anything, but everybody's just faking it. And then all of a sudden you're faking it too. You deserve to be in every room. And I'm really happy you all said that because they're actually in the field. If I said it, you'd be like, you don't know anything. Go sit down with Thursday. If you deserve to be in that room, walk in that room with confidence.
Well, there is something to be said for faking it until you make it. I don't know, Jock here. There is something to be. Oops. Hello. Sika. Oh, hello. You too. Oh, I think it's. Hello. Hey. Hello.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. There's definitely something to be said for faking it till you make it, and even if that making it is just making yourself believe it, if you project the confidence to such an extent that everyone else believes it, eventually you'll believe it too.
Well, okay. I like that. Okay, so what's something about being a woman in STEM
That anybody really talk us about. You can do it all. You can have it all. It's all about work-life balance. It's all about scheduling your time. A lot of times, well, some people say we have to pick and choose what we want, but we can actually be wonderful professionals and still have a personal life as well. You don't have to burn yourself out to the point that it's like it's only my career. And I think I've learned that balance of, you can still get to go on family vacation. You can still get to go on your birthday trips, but still make work a priority. And I feel like some people feel like they have to pick and choose. So just, you could do it. Just have great time management, use your resources, and scale your time.
And I love to testify to that because I've seen Ashley. It can be. I saw you in Puerto Rico. I saw her everywhere. So she is correct. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, you can do it and still be very well in your career.
Indeed. I think I just want to piggyback off of what she said. I think, especially being in corporate America, rest is so important. Like as much as it's important to be ambitious and strive and work on every project and deliver on time, it is so important to rest and like center yourself, pour it to yourself so you can pour it to others, and actually show up and do the best job that you can. Like I do not think we're machines. I think we're people. I know we're people, but I think we need to identify more with Lee Hubert and actually need to take a break and taking a rest, creating rigid boundaries around work-life balance. Like speaking from experience, I have been learning a lot lately. And especially right now, being that I work with the tax practice, is a busier season with the 315 and 415 deadline. And I found myself working a bit too hard. And I don't think that my husband likes that. I don't think that my dogs likes that because I don't need to spend time with them. So I think as much as I enjoy working and showing up and being a part of a team, I also enjoy having a nice home to come to, a happy home. So
Yeah. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. So for me, I'd say I think I'm piggybacking off of the second question we had, or third question. Is this the fourth one? What is your question? But I want to just piggyback off of like that imposter syndrome and how we belong, right? So just remember that, because I feel like a lot of people just forget that you belong where you are right now. You got that same job, right? So you belong, and I just want to emphasize because you do.
Y'all took both names because that's it. I guess going back to that, I think that's yeah. I just want to reiterate: you belong. Be true to who you are. Figure that out. And again, once that happens, I think the imposter syndrome flows away. I mean, not entirely. I will 100% admit when I got my promotion to development manager, I was like, okay, do I really deserve this? Yes, I really deserve this. I did the trainings, I did everything. My team supports me. I've made a lot of changes to it. So, all that to say, yeah, you belong, figure out who you are, and be true to it.
Hey, I think, yeah, y'all can hold on to it. Y'all can hear me, right? Or, yeah, let's do this. Let's keep the uniform. All right. So I know they said you belong, but belonging can sometimes make you feel scared, right? You're thinking, oh, you're like, oh, I'll be so terrified. So what was a career decision that you made that made you feel scared? And how did you overcome that? What were the steps you took in, navigating that path?
Hi. The scariest decision I made was something here. I am from Georgia. I only left Georgia to go to college and I came right back. And I was at the company I'm at now, the Georgia location. So I had been there 5 years. I knew everybody. Everybody knew me. Anytime I needed something, I could make a phone call and it happened. They called me production princess. Like I was the girl. Like they were like, oh, Ashley, the Alabama girl. Yeah, roll tide, fur. I could do anything I want from security to HR to engineering to advanced development. Like anybody, yeah, Ashley, I'll help you out because we built that community, we built those connections, and so moving to a whole new location of my company, knowing no one, went from knowing over 300 people to knowing 0 people. It was so scary. It's halfway across the country. Like I said, I only left home for college. That was 4 hours away. Now 13 hours from home. So it was a lot of change at once. And it was a promotion. She spoke about promotions, a new role. As I told you all, I've always had technical roles. And now I'm switching to the business side. Okay, it was a lot of new things at once. And my mentors were in Georgia. Of course, the things are the same, but it's different than just running to their office and saying, yo, this happened today. Oh, what should I do? So I'm like, gotta schedule a call. I gotta do all this. My homegirl's in the other department. I can't just walk and have lunch with everybody, okay? So it was a lot of new things. And not only that, we have multiple locations of my company here in Texas. So the one that all my friends were at was 30 minutes away from me. So I'm really solo or by myself. Yeah. And so it was scary. And so I just had to, apply myself, learn my new role, ask questions, still build a network. Because at first when I moved down here, I kind of shut down. Like I used to love networking. I would get to know anybody I worked with, even if they weren't my department. I was like, well, I'm gonna just stay here with me and my lead and work and go home. Well, fast forward, I had to change my mindset. I was like, you know what, Ashley, you can build the life you want. Okay, Ashley, this is a new beginning. Don't look at it as leaving your old life. Because now I have friends at my Georgia location and I have a bunch of friends in my Texas location. It helped me be you all because that gave me, when I moved, that gave me the encouragement I needed to start the YouTube. The YouTube was supposed to start 2019, 2020. I put it off. I wanted it to be perfect. When I moved here, I was like, hey,
I have the time. I ain't got no friends. Let me, build my YouTube. Let me go back to my community engagement because I love volunteering. And so that was the scariest thing for me. And it ended up being a tremendous blessing. It has like blessed my life in so many ways. And like I said, I have a bigger network now and I've gotten to impact so many. So it ended up being really good. So it was scary, but we did it. Okay.
So I think that I made a decision to move from higher education, so working at the college. I worked at Common College specifically in their IT help desk, which is just level one support again. I'm helping out faculty and staff and students as well. So I got an opportunity to work with this is consulting firm, but uh, it wasn't something I was actually interested in doing. I didn't know that the company existed. I thought that the recruiter that was reaching out to you was a scam or a bot, you know? I'm like, you're reaching out to me on LinkedIn, you're trying to get me to accept the job for a firm I never heard of before. Like, no, I'm not doing it. So I was very scared to leave what I was used to because I somewhat made a family there. Like I was spending 40 hours a week with these people for like 4 years. So I was a bit intimidated to move, but also just to take on a role that I wasn't necessarily going with because I had only worked with college students. So a little bit more about my background. When I was working, I was going to college in Lafayette. I had a work study and I was working at college essentially. So I just switched from work study to part time to full time. So it's like I was only used to working at a college in higher education specifically. So that change was drastic for me working in corporate America. I have good friends who work in corporate, and the stories that they told me, I'm like, this isn't a real job. This isn't like something I want to do. I prefer to stay in higher education, but that was one of the best decisions I've ever made to leave. I think it pushed me to meet new people, to try new things, and also, and among an opportunity to work remotely. I did not have to go to the college 5 days a week, which is something that I think has altered my quality of life, being able to work remotely and not have to get up every single day and put on a nice outfit, even though I love doing that. I just, I just think that I think that the times have changed. Like I think we're innovating now to where we don't have to go to an office 5 days a week just to be productive or just to have a job. So I think switching over to corporate America, but also allowing this recruiter to reach out to me and taking the word for it that she actually wants to give me a real job was scary at first, but it was so fruitful in the end. And I'm really grateful for where I am now. I think had I not taken the risk, I would not have known who's on the other side of that. So, hell.
So a scary or the scariest decision I ever had to make was during COVID, I was applying for entry-level jobs. Just a great time to be doing that. And of course, they had to be all online. And before, my internships were all from career fairs, like the Sweet Career Fair or the SB1, or even Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I went to that one too. And I got internships from all three of those career fairs in person, being able to talk to people in person. But now this is all online. And I had to apply online for companies, and I actually got an offer, but it was in New Jersey. I was Houston. I was doing the raids in Houston, and they wanted me to go to New Jersey, and I almost told them no. I was like, man, it's cold over there though. Like, I don't know about that. Like, I mean, the times where like there wasn't gonna be a lot of job opportunities, and I was like, I don't want to risk, saying no to a good opportunity. Just I didn't know anybody in New Jersey. And so I talked to my parents and they're like, yeah, you could do it. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm pressing yes. And they came back immediately telling me, oh, just choose what start date and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll start in August. I graduated in May. I got the offer December, but I was like, let me push it back because I'm going to need to figure out how to move over there. Right. So I was like, okay, I'm moving to New Jersey and I don't know anybody, zero people off. And my mom was like, oh, once upon a time I actually lived in Jersey. And when were you going to tell me this? And she had a couple friends in New Jersey. So I had like two people I could rely on that were still there. that I started off with, but I know like people my age there. And luckily the team I moved to, they were like almost everybody was my age on my team. And they were so nice. Like I was like, Jersey people are nice. Like it's like cool. And then my manager was like the best manager ever. And I was like, this is not gonna be bad, right? And till this day, I still have all those connections. Like I talk to these people all the time. I'm inviting them to see me graduate in May. I'm walking the stage in May. Finished my classes in December, but I'm walking in May, right? So it's been a journey, but that was the scariest decision, but it's brought me to where I am now, and I'm grateful for that.
So, I was an Air Force brat growing up. So moving around, not as scary as I understand it can be for everyone else. I get a lot of weird looks when I'm like, this is the longest I've ever lived in one place, and that's 8 years. Even the town I grew up in, high school, that was only 6 years. So moving around is not really scary for me, but it took me a little while. I graduated in 94 from high school, graduated in 2003, so took me almost 10 years to get my undergrad. Then I had all the focus on becoming a teacher. And when I moved to Virginia, somewhere in there, grew up in Washington State, ended up in Virginia. And the very first day that I was teaching, they said, this is not for everybody. Give it 5 years. The first year is going to be the worst year of your life. And they did not lie. It was the worst year of my life because teaching is something so different. It's very different than learning, right? So I gave it the 5 years and decided I didn't like it. I loved teaching. I did not love the parents. So if you are going into education, be prepared. The parents are the worst. So, because you kind of expect the kids to be difficult, right? And you go in with that expectation, and they give you all these child management tools and techniques. They don't give you parent tools and techniques. So anyway, the biggest change that I had, again, also fighting the imposter syndrome, could I do this, was going back 10 years, that 10 years since I'd written any code, and going back and getting my master's degree. That was probably the scariest thing because I had done so many other things in my life, but I didn't think I was capable of doing that. Did that, graduated in 2014. A few months later, got a job with the Navy. I was working on the F-35 or the 88B Harrier, the OG vertical landing and taking off plane. Then it led me to the F-35 program, which led me here. I definitely, again, epic journey, but that was probably the scariest because it was money. I was still paying off on my old student loans. I wasn't going to be able to work while I was going to school because it was such an intense program. Luckily, I have a great family that supported me. From a very secure job that I could teach anywhere in the country to something that I didn't know what it would hold. So here we are, but definitely take those chances. I think that's what I'm hearing from all four of us, right? Is take those chances. Just 1%.
Absolutely.
Take those chances. So there's a lot of moving going on, right? Like you moved from Georgia here, you moved from higher institution to corporate America, you moved to Jersey.
It was cold. It was cold. You moved everywhere. But amidst all of that, and I know obviously this is the scariest moment in your career. What was the backbone for, like, who are people? I know you talk about your mom and having people around you. Who are the mentors you looked out to? And you had people in your Georgia location, but you didn't they weren't in the same places. So how did you navigate not having, or how did you find the people who could help you through those situations?
This is a great question. I had a mix because after, like I said, when I moved at first, I didn't have many things to do. I went on Eventbrite every week, found networking events. Like I was like, well, gotta make a new circle. Okay, gotta do something and find some places to volunteer. So first I did that. That helped me get like my friend group. Or one time I was walking outside in my neighborhood and bumped into Chloe, met Chloe. We had the same exact shirt on from our company. And so we clicked from there. Also, I had, like I said, my mentors at Georgia referred me to mentors here in Texas because, like I said, I'm at the same company. But also, I met people just through doing different things, through volunteering, through helping with engineering groups and things like that. So people will pour into you when they bet you. They're like, "Oh my goodness, you're so sweet, you're so nice. Like I want to help you." People will get to know you and want to help you when they see your intention and how you are. And I also got to join golf. I met Brittany. I joined a golf organization. Met Brittany there. So I think just through getting involved to help me make my new community, my new circle, my new tribe, and together we just grow and evolve. And everybody has supported me. It just helped me through different things or deciding different things. So I've been here. And it's been great. And of course, I still have my family support. So a great week show, everybody.
So I think that's a good question, especially for me. I didn't always have community. I've actually sought it out intentionally. I wanted to be a part of more. I wanted to do more, find better hobbies for myself rather than just like going out and meeting it does. I wanted to play golf. I wanted to play tennis. And for me, I didn't have a mentor in Louisiana. And when I moved here, I only had like my immediate supervisor to provide direction as far as my path for both in information technology. And now that I'm at this new firm, I had the opportunity to have a performance manager, which is nice. Uh, Initially, my performance manager didn't look like me and didn't come from my background, but she was still so much help. And I think that's important to just gather help from the people who want to support you. Like you may not always have people who come from the same walk as you that will take you under their wing. So now I think I have a better stance on my career because of my performance manager. She takes time to ask me like, well, what do you want to do? Rather than what you're doing right now, what do you want to do? Like how it get you there? Like what's gonna be your driver? What are you gonna pursue while you're actively working? But as far as community though, in Dallas, I think I've been intentionally making friends who are just like doing the best things ever. Like Ashley with with her with her brand, it's like I just think the opportunity presents themselves of being authentically myself. Like I show up in myself in every room that I'm in, and it just a lot to be the opportunity to be grateful.
I loved it the minute I saw her.
So for me, I definitely started at home with my mom, right? And then she brought me closer to two of her friends, which was surprising because it's my dad that has all the friends just out everywhere. And so it was her friends this time. And I was like, wow, these are your friends? Wow. And it was so nice. I just still talking to them today too. Actually, they just congratulated me on my L masters as well. But after I got out of the house, the support I found was actually from my manager. She was the best first manager you could ever have. Like she was looking out for me, and so she talked to other people and brought me a mentor within the company, and that was pretty cool. And then I moved to Dallas, right? And that move was actually really good for me because my undergrad was at Prairie View A&M University, and about 12 of my people that graduated with me live out here. And I was like, perfect, let's go. And so I already had a community like coming in, which was really nice. And then I had a senior manager at my current place that moved, and I like was able to connect with her like pretty early on, and I talked to her and was like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor, like do you have any suggestions? And she actually gave me the best mentor ever as well. So just talk to people, communicate, be authentic, and they'll want to help you as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Be who you are, right? And ask questions. I think that's it. Like, the mentors come when you ask the questions, and don't, this kind of goes, I think, back to the imposter syndrome too. Like, there's a faking it till you make it, and then there's being delusional in what you know. Anytime I go in with the intention of learning and growing and saying, okay, you know, I'm ignorant of this, and removing the stigma behind the word ignorant. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. You don't know what you don't know. So asking those questions, the mentors just started appearing. People are so happy to share their knowledge. But to build community, every place I've gone, if I don't have a support network there already, meetups. The meetup app is the best because you could do exactly what you said. I found hiking groups. I found camping groups. I now also am part of the LPGA Amateur Association, so I'm doing golfing, and you know, so there's if you ever move to a new location and you're trying to find something, find like-minded people, even outside, because we do want to go back to that work-life balance. So meetups, they have every possible thing. If you're into dancing, if you're into music, if you're into writing code, they've got code meetups. They've got, you know, there's so much. So the meetup app, there's been a couple of times that I was like, should I be doing this when I'm meeting people at 6:30 at Eagle Mountain Park that I don't know a single person? Like, maybe this wasn't the smartest choice. So, you know, then you just drop a pin and let your family know where you are. And if you don't respond in an hour, tell them to call the cops. Yeah. You know, be smart about it. But meetups, that's how I have grown and found a lot of like-minded people.
Right, y'all heard that? Play golf and do weedos. Yes? Yes. And if you go out hiking, tell your families, tell your friends, don't let them take you, stay up here. All right, we've talked career, we've talked all except that. We've talked mentors, careers, and all of that. So let's make it practical and come to where we are, to students, right? So in internships, GPA, networking, what actually matters when we're talking the real world? Corporate America, finding jobs, actually making an impact in society.
All of them matter, but I will say networking will get you so far. Networking can get you endorsed at your internship and resume cannot. Always, of course, keep those up to date. Get great internships if you can. You know, keep your resume up to date if you can. Well, you can do that. But networking, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to work for. So, like, I recently took a new job, and a year ago, I met this group I'm going to be working with, and I had no idea I'd be working on their team one day. But we were just meeting, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, hey! And they were like, oh my gosh, hey! And we clicked a year ago, so now I'm working on their team. It's like, I already know her. That's bomb. Like, awesome, cool. But networking, though, it helps you build relationships, and it doesn't even have to be someone in your exact department. It doesn't have to be someone in your same field. We're like, next month, hosting an event DC with 3 other STEM founders, but I met them just networking. I never knew 5-7 years later, we're doing a group event in a whole other state. All of us are flying to. Like, and they get off work from a 10-hour day and plan with me. We are on Zoom for 1 and 2 hours. Like, who knew that? But that was because we built relationships before that. They're like, I'm willing to invest my time in you and what you believe in, like, for your brain. So you never know where networking will take you. And also with the job market nowadays, a lot of people have layoffs and things like that. There are people that are like, oh my goodness, I met this person on Nesby 3 years ago that, hey, my team has something. Here, come speak here, or come work with me here. You just never know where it will take you, but just building those genuine connections and really just getting to know people and how you can support them. It doesn't start out, it's not transactional, it's really just genuine. And it can build into something that you never even imagined. So I will say networking is my favorite builds. But, you know, you have great tools now that we didn't have, like ChatGPT, to help make your resume better. You know, if you get an internship, I had only 2 internships. I didn't get an internship every summer, but still networking helped me get to the other things. Like, I only got to NASA because I was a NASA Space Grant Consortium scholar, but I learned about that program because I worked in the aerospace office. I didn't know that all that would trickle to get me to the company I am today, because I always thought I went to work in, like, cell phones, like I said. Like, I never knew I would be in aerospace.
So definitely network, learn about other people, and support them, and you never know what it will turn into.
So this question is interesting for me because I've never had an internship, but somehow still landed in some of these places and have the ability to speak poorly today. So I I think that the pathway for internships to a full-time job is it's wonderful. I've seen it. I mean, for some of the people that I work with, like some of the students who I'm actively working with now, who they're my company is trying to get them to work for us. And it's like, so you're telling me you're going to give me a job, you're going to pay for me to live somewhere, and then I can work here full time. Like I didn't even know that that existed. Honestly, when I was in college, I just thought it was like something you did for free. I didn't know that they actually paid you to work for them and then wanted to give you a job. So I think most important with all of the options in the question is to be knowledgeable and just be aware, like get connected with possibly an academic advisor or someone in the financial aid office. I'm sure they can direct you to the right people to speak with for internships. So just utilize all of your resources, I think is the most important. And especially for interviewing and like resume writing, I think one thing that helped me was actually going and sitting down with this group. I don't necessarily remember what they're called because it's been so long, but this group in my college, they helped me draft my resume and actually sat down with me and get in my mock interview, which I found to be very interesting. Like, why would I just sit here and pretend that we're interviewing? But I think my resume actually shows up before I do. So they get to see firsthand who I am, or at least the experience that I have. And they're so intrigued that they actually want to sit down and have a conversation with me. So I think it matters that you perfect your resume and put all that you've done, all the great things that you've been a part of. But whenever you show up, be yourself and show them who you are to really demonstrate and showcase why you're the perfect fit for the job. And not necessarily just because you need a job, because that's why you're there. You know, you need a job to, you need a job. But I get that. It's just more so allow them to see more of your personality. And I think that's why it's so good to be authentic, because that's what's going to distinguish you from the other candidates. I want to say networking is important as well too, because networking allows you the opportunity to be here. Just because being in such a great friendship, I feel like I now have the opportunity to speak to you all. But I think being in a network is just being a link. So you can start off as someone who I just made through, and now we're connected, but now I connected with someone else, and now we know each other. And I think it doesn't have to be transactional. It could definitely just grow into possibly a friendship, but also just a great working relationship, a professional relationship. It it can allow you opportunities, but also just considering your children. Like whenever you consider who you're meeting, you never know how that could benefit you or a family member. And just speaking from what you just said, like,
My parents have great friends.
yes, yes. And it's like you could become that one day. The same person that you're trying to meet or get into connection with is like you could actually be that person that someone is trying to meet with or be a mentee of one day. So I think all of them are valuable. Usually.
Yep, I also think all three are valuable. I would say more important is on the networking, just because that connection can get you in the door. For sure, that is like the first step on how you can get you in the door. And then the internships are the path of least resistance for that entry level job. You have an internship like that makes you have like a cherry on top of your experience that the company you're that's looking at you is looking for. And for your GPA, that's even like a little better cherry on top, way up there as well, because they don't even have to second guess you. Like you already like got a GPA, like all right, okay, and then plus the internship, and then you already know someone in the company. Come on out, like what you doing over there, right? So I think it's definitely important to have all three, but most importantly for that networking to work for you.
I will disagree with the GPA. The only time I've ever been asked what my GPA was when I was trying to become a teacher, because they wanted to make sure I was a smart enough person to teach. So, so GPA, I've never really needed it. Internships, I too made it through my whole life without having a single internship. So the networking, that is the most important thing. There is so much truth to it's not what you know, it's who you know. See. And definitely. So tell you guys a little me by far is the most important thing. And just to reiterate, you don't know anybody you're meeting, anybody in this room, you guys don't know what's going to happen in a year, 2 years, 7 years. So don't go into it as transactional. I loved that word. Like, go into it, make friends, and then who knows what opportunities will arise from that friendship.
That's like,
And even when I met Salem and Josephine, I did not know they would be on my YouTube. Okay, they got a whole episode, so you don't know where it's at. Thank you.
And to add on that, I'm not a panelist, just in case Hilda know, if you want to network with me, that's so awesome because I will be a CEO when they put that on video. That right now. Yeah, applaud me, please. Applaud me. Yes, 5 years, come maybe. But that's so awesome. Now, I won't open it up to anybody who has any questions. They're here to answer your questions, so go for it.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming out today and speaking to all of us. It's been nice hearing about all your experiences. I want to ask about how you manage your time because I've been getting very overwhelmed, like applying to internships, scholarships, going to school, working, scheduling meetings. I'm so tired of scheduling meetings, and I'm so tired of looking at my schedule to do anything. Like, how do you like manage your time with all your responsibilities?
Hey, what's your name?
I'm Valerie.
Yeah. Everybody else done.
Yeah.
So for me, I have to even schedule in my breaks. So like if I want to rest for an hour and a half, I will put it in the block. Like I write down what is my routine going to be today. I always have buffer room. Also, when I'm working on side things, so you mentioned internship study. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I might work on one thing. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, a different thing. So I'm not getting burned out, trying to do everything at one time every day, and scheduling your self-care, schedule in your meals. You can even schedule in grocery shopping. You can turn on an alarm clock to say, by the time this alarm clock goes off, I need to be walking to my car. I need to be gone. Because with me, as you mentioned, I have to, people are like, how are you? How, and sometimes I don't know myself. I'm like, how am I here? Did I eat today? I have to schedule the things in because they're all important. Like you said, everything you need is important. But scheduling your self-care, schedule in your rest time, schedule in and make a schedule for Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, internships, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, whatever else. That's what's personally helped me. And also, find your outlet. Find whatever your outlet is. It could be an outdoor walk to relieve stress. It could be yoga. Find your outlet to help you decompress, de-strategize, prioritize, and say, actually, you know what? Let me do this for a second there.
I love this question. Thank you so much for asking. Specifically for me, because I struggled with time management since I was a little girl. Like, there's been times I was watching with my mom and she would just leave me because I would take too long to get dressed. But, and I knew she was going to do it, but I still just was taking my precious time because I don't like being rushed at all. I value my time so much. Like, I would never get it back. It's the biggest form of currency that you have. And especially when you're working in these settings, it's like you're exchanging your time for essentially or opportunity, whatever you're doing it for. I think what works best for me is being intentional about using my calendar. I started off using like an agenda when I was in college, but now I actually have reminders and like notifications to bring me back to reality, to slow me down, especially. I schedule time with my friends. Like there's one event I scheduled with my friend from like a month from now, just to go to a coffee shop. Like you need to get on my calendar, girl. Because if not, I will remember, I will forget. But I also am very intentional about my Sabbath and taking an entire day to myself to do that. Absolutely nothing. I mean, not go anywhere, just bedrock, literally. Because I think that the world wants me to be ambitious and go out and work and do all the things. But at times I don't know that I necessarily want to do that. I think I desire just to relax. And I think rest is like resistance. It's so important.
One more to your question about time. I think that as of late, I set time clocks whenever I'm working. Like, I will not allow people to just call me. I'll say, I actually have something reserved for right now. Just actually being a bit more assertive with your own time and taking it back. And if something doesn't need to go on as long as they intend it, it's like, oh, can I have my time back? Actually, I actually work on something else. I don't want to sit here and just listen to you talk. Because I think, everyone, that's such a good question. I'm trying to find the right words to say, because I know, especially being in college, it's like there's so many other things that are demanding, like what's your time. But for me right now, like I'm actually working through this quickly, like trying to figure out the best way to prioritize things that I need to get done. Maybe I need a circuit bike, but I hope that it's part of it.
I'm sitting perfectly. So for me, first I chose a job that would give me time back. So I'm off every Friday, which lovely because because I can't imagine working on a I couldn't do it. But yeah, so that was one thing. So I already had like a schedule where I had 3-day weekends, and then also I was doing my master's for 13.5 years. And so what I did was I put my homework, like when I'm doing my homework, on those weekends, and had like my evenings work just free. And that way I could just do all my homework in the weekend. And every semester, I called it D-Day. That's what the due date was for the day of the week. And it would change semester to semester depending on what class it was. But most of my D-Days were on Tuesdays, which that was good because I still had Monday a little bit just in case. But yeah, so I would do my homework on the Friday and then throughout the weekend. And if I had like a trip planned, I would have to do my work in advance, right? So, because I know if I'm out of the state, I'm not doing it. So I had to plan in advance and get that stuff done and turned in before I even left. Well, that way I was able to enjoy my breaks like that. So.
Yeah, my calendar is the best thing. Like I have my morning run, I have code. So like we use Teams in my current office so they can see I block off every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 11 for coding. And that's my time that I am developing, and everyone sees that I am unavailable. So it's not 100%. I have to then reinforce the boundary. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. Or if I don't really have any the development needs at that moment, then I could, but it's my choice. I have on there that this is something else that I am spending my time on. So my calendar is what I live by. I also have this great app called Rotary because I do tend to be like, oh la la, I'm getting dressed, I'm doing my hair. And this has the alarm. So it's like, okay, you have 10 minutes to do your hair. You have 10 minutes to do your makeup. You have 10 minutes, 15 minutes to shower. And that's helped me a lot just because I do the same thing because routines are not my friend. But so this is like, has an alarm that keeps me going and on track. If I am giving myself a rest, like lunch or 15 minutes, or I have my Alexa set a timer for 15 minutes and allowing myself that rest. Things will ease up when you no longer have school. You know, that's something I wanted to reassure you that your life it'll be worth it. Once you get through this, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That at least that piece will be removed. But yeah, calendar, alarms, anything to pull me back because I tend to, especially it's software development. I don't know what kind of engineering, but there's something about sitting in front of that computer and just getting sucked in and trying to solve a problem. And so I need to, yeah, no, exactly. I need those timers to pull me out of anything. So, and then calendars. Great.
Thank you. You to reiterate what you were saying. I think we all were just providing ways to implement structure in your life, like treat your life like a business.
Yeah.
I think
being so very intentional where I'm going to do this for this amount of time, this for this amount of time, and resting, of course, because you can't really do much if you don't rest. And the only reason why I say that is because I was a part of the 5 a.m. club for like 3 months. So working out consistently at 5 a.m. and then in the evening as well. But that takes, you like, yeah, wake up at 5 too. Yeah. But that was hard. And it's like, well, how do I manage that and get to work on time? How do I not like overwork myself to where my work done until, I don't know, past I'm supposed to do work. But I think, yeah, really treat your life like a business. And like she said, it will get better in time because you'll have the ability to schedule your time as you see fit. And yeah, thank you.
Like she said, it's so worth it. The light at the end of the tunnel, you will love your life. It's so worth it. Just grind through this. It's gonna be so worth it.
Just keep swimming and
The light is there, guys. Any other questions? Yes. Yes. Hey.
Squishy. You're gonna we'll pass the mic back to her. Throat.
you did have your hand up first.
So action student.
Without pressure.
Hi, my name is Aoife. Thank you for you guys are so wax.
Well,
You talked a lot about having mentors, but did you guys have mentors in college? And if so, how did you go about getting mentors? Because personally, for me, I have like trouble talking to my teachers. I just find it like really awkward. But how would you guys, or if you had mentors in college, how did you go about getting mentors? And then how was having a mentor like in the professional like grade bar currently?
So I did have mentors in college, and they're still my mentors today. Like I just saw one in December, like, oh my gosh, and we still have phone call. But some teachers will see your potential and just come tell you, hey, I want to mentor you. And they'll come to you. I've had that happen. One professor I had a spouse that worked on campus as well, and they both mentored me. They helped me get a new work study job and everything. Other mentors, you just have to ask, maybe you admired their career journey or where they are or how they treat you. And you could just say, hey, I really am inspired by you. Would you be willing to have the time to mentor me? And with the mentors, you can't expect everybody to meet you monthly, but you can make a cadence that works for you. So even now, okay, I have a mentor that's a PT. Okay, they cannot meet me every month. So we might meet once a quarter. So a lot of times if you go up to people, they'll be willing to help you. And if they're not, sometimes they'll refer you to someone else or they'll just make it more sporadic. So definitely just get that courage and go because you have to remember every person you see has been in your shoes and in your place. And a lot of people are willing to help if they can. It all fits like the time management we just talked about. If they can, a lot of people will, or they'll find a resource for you to get it. So just ask them, look them up on LinkedIn, be like, I looked up your school and you went here, or I saw we had this in common. Research the person you want to mentor you. Maybe have something about them and you go up and say, hey, this is me, and have your resume. And one thing I do when I meet new people or mentors is I have a one-page PowerPoint about myself that has pictures of me and the things I've done. Like I volunteer a lot. I was in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I was a halftime girl in college. I performed all over the country. They get to see a little bit about Ashley and her personality as well as my resume and what I do for work. So they get to learn a little bit about you personally and professionally. And you send that resume, you send that one pager, and you say, hey, I'd love to meet for 15 minutes. And then you discuss with them and say, would you be willing to do it? So that's the risk.
Thank you.
So again, mine route was very non-traditional. I did not have a mentor. I did seek one, and she declined respectfully. And I think it's because I didn't want to pursue the same path that she did, which I was okay with that. So I don't get to attribute my success to her, but rather to finding my own path and just paving my own way. I think oftentimes it is a blessing to be able to say, hey, like I have someone who's rooting for me, who's like walking me through my entire journey, and that's great. But I also think it's very fruitful for you to do things on your own, like create your own path. But at the same time, I do think it's important to still network and still try. I think I was just a bit more, I know like burn was the best word to use, or just the best word to use, like burned by that experience, but I just didn't pursue it after that. I was like, okay, well,
Now that I don't have a mentor, I just have to do what I have to do. But now working in corporate, I don't have a choice. Like I'm assigned a performance manager, which essentially is like to help me on my journey working with the firm. So what that looks like for me is we meet occasionally, like once a month. And just depending on what the workload is, like I can move it around. But we meet to assess what I've done for the month and how that contributes to my overall goals for the entire fiscal year, which is from November to October. So essentially we make sure that the goals that I set out at the beginning of the year, I'm on track to completing them and what that looks like as far as like promotion readiness, if I'm wanting to move to the next level or not. And if there's any areas that I need to improve, we identify my strengths and weaknesses and the things that I most likely just need to address with her. But also we just talk. Like she's actually, I won't say a friend, but at the same time, she's somewhat of a friend. Like I can talk to her about work-life balance and what I'm going through, but still being professional. But I think it's just being that my performance is involved. What happens at home sometimes affects what I do at work. Like if I'm working too much, I'm not sleeping, I'm tired whenever I go to work, that can affect my performance essentially. So we have those sort of conversations like, where are you going to, you know? But I think that this relationship with her develops over time beautifully because like I started off like not really knowing you and kind of like early in my career and now I've grown a year from now and I may have another performance manager, but I think their conversations that they would have about me is like, well, actually, Brittany accomplished all of this throughout the year, so I think she'd be a great fit for you in this point, you know? So I think my route is just a bit like non-traditional, but I still have the opportunity to have a performance manager now that's assigned to me, and I really like her. I really like the impact that she's had in my career thus far. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I would encourage you to still try and network and find someone in the exact craft and like field that you're wanting to be in. And I didn't even realize you could do stuff like that, like create a PowerPoint about yourself and really to showcase who you are. I mean, oftentimes whenever you're getting into these spaces, um, you may have an opportunity to express exactly who you are and like be in a hot seat presentation where you're just talking for like 10 minutes straight about who you are. Um, but I think it's very important to just be intentional about what you want and then find people who align with that. And if there's someone who is in the field that is similar to what your journey is, like they've been through what you've been through, just connect with them and just be yourself.
So for me, I actually had a mentor while in college, and that was due to already having like a huge network where I went because my dad went to the same college, and then a lot of people from my church went to that college as well. And so they were like, "Hey, look out for Chris. He will help you out." And I was like, "All right, I'll look out for him." And he was hard to find. He had like 5 offices around the engineering area. And so I would be like, oh, I found out this is his office and there'd be nobody in there. And so I was like, oh, on this one. And finally met him at the one of the ship meetings. And from there, I told him who I was and who told me to go see him. And he was like, oh, you were part of the family then, right? So after that, the next year, I wanted to get a job on campus. And so I was telling him about it, and he's like, I could hire you. And I was like, oh, wow. And so, yeah, he became my mentor in Moss. And we still talk to this day. Actually met him too. Yeah, went to homecoming last year. And yeah, it's been a great experience. So use your network because somebody knows somebody that works here, right? And they'll be like, hey, I know this person. Go seek them out and like introduce yourself and they'll look out for you too, right? So it's been awesome.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I mean, it's a long time ago, but yeah, my teachers and kind of was in the same boat as you, but I was a little bit older too. So I was just kind of did everything on my own. But mentorship doesn't have to be necessarily in your school or in your classes or anything along those lines. Like, just I had a lot of women in my life that were in corporate, and they mentored me just through getting through school and getting into the workforce. And most of my jobs, I was assigned some kind of mentorship once I got to that point. but you don't necessarily need a mentor that is doing everything that you're doing to guide you. I think if you don't feel comfortable with anybody in that position, say a teacher, but is there a person in your life that can guide you generally, big picture, what you need to do, what you need, as far as that goes. But also, the Society of Women Engineers offers a mentorship